I also can prophesize the future. And I also can see subliminal messaging.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Miss Pillsbury's slow, girl. Now,
Look, really? I'm pretty sure I could truck the shit out of you fucking overgrown baby.
Dude, whatever you're smoking, buy a ton of it.
I'm the greatest smack talker on the fucking face of the earth right now.
Possibility of women playing in the league. I don't think it's impossible.
You fucking punk-ass bitch!
Jesus Christ, that hurt. I'm still gonna.
I'm fucking real, bro. You ain't shit.
Well, this is smacking off. If you don't like it, change your diaper and leave.
Don't be ridiculous right now, okay?
I'd rather watch softcore porn than have to watch all of that.
No, that's how you make opium, and then from there you gotta process it.
Bro, who invited this dude, bro? What the fuck? Get this dude out of here, bro.
No, U.S. is far better than Oklahoma historically.
Your meatloaf is moist as my pussy gets. I promise you that.
Okay.
Oh shit, this has turned into King Arthur's drug class.
How long?
They need you back at the cash register in 5 minutes.
Well, Tiggy's like pipe minus the entertainment value.
Smacking Off the Podcast is starting in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
And welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips. Doug, what's going on tonight?
We got a big one tonight.
We got a spirited podcast tonight.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stoked about this one. To kick it off, we're going to do our continuing week by week conference preview, previewing the Power 5. Sorry, UCF.
Yep.
It's not Power 6. Not Power 7. It's the Power 5. And tonight we're going to tackle the Big 12. There's actually there's a contest in the Big 12 for once.
Yeah.
Texas is back. Texas is.
That's what they say.
Texas folks, the Longhorns as they call them. You got to do the horns up. You do the horns down.
Yeah.
You could get in a lot of trouble.
Oh, really?
I think.
Only when you're in Austin, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably going to be during the Red Road. So what do they do when the Oklahoma fans do all the horns down? Because fucking Okie fans are going to do that shit. Okie fans are almost as bigger assholes as Alabama fans. Nah, I'm just kidding.
No, they're not.
No, there are no bigger assholes on the face of the earth than Alabama fans. Roll Tide.
Let's try this. Let's see if we can get these fellas on.
I like that.
Oh, and for the first time ever tonight, we got a Longhorn coming on.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh, I have. I've actually upgraded. I don't know if people have noticed. I'm in HD tonight. The little thing that I bought for $5 a little after. I have actually went on the internet. What up?
What's going on?
Is this Aaron? Or is this Tim?
Yeah.
That's Tim. Okay, we got Aaron. Well, we got everybody. Everybody popped in all at once. All right, that's what I'm talking about right there. Here at Smacking Off the Podcast. All right, we're joined with our Big 12 conference dudes. Perennial favorites Timothy Bailey, Sean Devine. How are you guys doing?
What's up?
Hey.
Long time no see.
And
how you doing?
And we also have a
football season's almost here.
we have a Longhorn with us tonight. Timothy, calm down. His name is Aaron Sims. Aaron is new to the podcast. Aaron, we welcome you to Smacking Off the Podcast. What's up, homie?
Oh, not much. Just ready for week one. Getting ready.
Well, since you are brand new to this podcast, I want to go ahead and start off with you because I just referenced a moment ago the fact that Texas is back. Let's talk about it. Everybody be quiet now. Give Aaron his chance.
I mean, for me, Texas is not back until we are winning championships and are in the driver's seat to be in playoffs every year. So, not said this until we knock off Oklahoma, the Big 12 runs through Oklahoma. But until then, I don't think Texas is back yet.
Okay, well, fair enough. A realistic Texas fan. I'm digging that. Timothy Bailey, your response?
Well, hey, it's nice to actually have a Texas fan being brave enough to come on.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked about this. We've had just about every other major fan base that I can think of on the podcast, except for have we had any Texas people yet? Not a single one.
It was the only blue blood that we had not got a rep in.
And it wasn't from lack of effort. I can tell
No,
you
we
that.
definitely tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have the fans that they think every year that we're going 12-0, and if you don't think that, then you're. Because I've been called a Sooner, I've been called an Aggie, I've been called every other fan base from a Tex fan base because I'll criticize the coach, I'll criticize Herman, or know what they're doing, and since I do that, I'm not a real fan. So you have those.
That's in every fan base, bro.
Yeah. So, and for me, like I think this year for Texas is the best year for Texas to win the Big 12 because nearly every, I think besides Texas, Iowa State, and I think Baylor are the only teams returning their quarterbacks from the previous year, I believe. Not 100% on that. But this is Tech, yeah. So this is probably the best chance that Texas had to win the Big 12 probably since 2009.
Right, fair enough. Timothy Bailey. How do you feel about them Sooners? Y'all got a new quarterback, brand new quarterback. Seems like, God, I remember this guy from somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've heard a lot of good things about Jalen, but I've actually been hearing a lot of good things about Spencer Rattler. So I am curious to see. There's some chatter.
There is no way. I know. Now, let me stop you right here. There's no way in hell that Jalen went through all of that at Alabama to go to Oklahoma and step into the same situation. Come on, man. Really?
Well, I think he'll start week 1, but I do wonder if he can hold Rattler off all year.
So it's going to be pretty much another Tua situation.
He's that good. He showed up at camp and he was when Rattler showed up in the summer, like he was already, from every report that I've seen that is any type of insider, Rattler was blowing people away and was far ahead of every other quarterback in camp, like within the first 2 weeks, which is just not normal, obviously, as you guys know, for freshman quarterbacks to come in and be that way.
We've seen it happen. Yeah, I mean, that's stepping out of that one situation into an exact identical situation. I don't know. I mean, gosh.
I don't think Jalen will do anything that will make him get benched, though.
Well, and that was my next question: is what is it going to take for Jalen to actually unwittingly step into that situation, and Spencer have to step?
If OU loses to Texas, because that's really realistically, if you look at the schedule, that's the first potential loss. If OU loses to Texas and Jalen's not good in that game, you're going to start hearing murmurs, and then if OU struggles and clinks to a couple of wins after that, all of a sudden you're going to see Rattler, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. But then again, will it be too late? Because I don't know. I mean, let me ask you a question, and this really, I guess, goes to both of you, Timothy and Aaron, because I know Sean Devine, he's repping Baylor tonight. I'm pretty sure, right?
TCU.
Okay, fair. Okay.
Orange Frogs.
That gives you a little bit of a fighting chance. But no, seriously, guys. Realistically, if we have either an 11-1 Oklahoma or 11-1 Texas going into the playoff game, does the winner automatically march into the playoffs? I mean, what's the scenario that sets that up?
I think that an 11-1, like you're saying, 11-1 Texas Oklahoma Big 12 championship rematch.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I can't see a possible realistic scenario. I mean, the only other scenario would be everybody else is undefeated champions. There's no way an Oklahoma or Texas that are both 11-1 playing in their championship weekend does not get into the playoffs with a win. The winner has to be in. There's no way.
Well, let me propose it a different way then. If you have one that's 12-0 and the other one obviously 11-1 with that loss to the 12-0 team, rematches in the Big 12 championship, and then of course the 11-1, and I'm just saying whichever one, right. Oklahoma and Texas. I don't mean to make either team interchangeable by any stretch of the imagination, but
so. If both games were close, then I feel like both would have. I think that the Big 12, because they set up their playoff, the 1 versus 2, for their conference championship, I do think it's them that has the best chance at getting 2 playoff teams in. Although I find it hard to believe that 2 playoff teams from the Big 12 will get in, because that would mean somewhere else you'd have to have like a 2-loss Big 10 champ and a 2-loss, or you just clearly, or the committee looks at it and says Texas/Oklahoma is clearly better than Ohio State, who's also 11 or 12-1. You'd have to have a scenario like that, I think. But I do think that the Big 12, because of that, has the best chance of getting 2 teams into the playoff, because they rematch 1 versus 2. So you could have 2 teams that have beaten every team on their schedule, and that's kind of hard to argue
Wouldn't
against.
that be fucking huge to have SEC, which probably is going to be Alabama, because they have and I'm a Bama fan here, but they do have a pretty soft schedule this year. They have a schedule that favors them marching back at least into the championship game unscathed or relatively unscathed.
Unless the early part of the schedule being as weak as it is, they're not prepared for
actual challenge, like LSU gives them trouble,
or at
LSD gives them trouble.
LSD gives them
LSD would definitely give them trouble.
At Auburn, it's enough to think about.
Auburn's always the tough game, I think, for Alabama. And that's the only game on the schedule that I look at every year that goes, that's kind of a wild card because anything can happen. I really don't think that anybody on Alabama's schedule is good enough to beat them.
I think,
now
like
going
College
back,
Station is a sneaky trip, so I would watch out for that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No Von Miller there.
Mafili Okifu is going to be on the podcast a little bit later. He's our Texas A&M rep, and we look very forward.
A little
to
later next month. Not tonight.
It's just like a Texas A&M fan did not come onto a podcast with an Oklahoma and Texas.
Well, I mean, he's not allowed to
they
anymore.
Just claimed that Texas ran them off out of the conference when they have the worst record in the SEC as they did in the Big 12, but that's none of my business.
I mean,
Formation of the Longhorn Network had nothing to do with it.
Texas A&M, Texas A&M is really they're really high on
It's going to be cool if somebody that's on the show gets arrested at the end of the siren.
Because they dipped because they couldn't win in the Big 12. All that Texas A&M has done, really, honestly, what Texas A&M has done is just helped has really just helped Alabama stay better because Texas A&M steals just enough of the top Texas talent to go 8-4 or 9-4 or whatever, and keep those players away from Oklahoma and Texas.
Well, they finally ran someone out of there.
That's really all they've done. I mean, that just keeps Alabama, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Johnny Manziel, which
I'm pretty sure
Texas, Texas didn't even offer him. I don't think.
If you talk to Landon Bayman, he will tell you that it was arranged that way.
Yeah,
that's a true story.
Crabtree is a safety too.
Yeah. Arden basically every quarterback that came through Texas, Mac Brown offered him as a safety. Basically, no, but back to the original about the if both teams go 11-1.
Like somebody's making some beans.
With
Who's cooking
Texas,
beans over there?
It would help with the LSU game.
You're right. LSU would be helpful
because
especially if you beat them like a drum.
Well, because let's say
it's
LSU
not that hard, really.
Say they run the table and they beat out. I don't see it happening. Let's say they beat Alabama and they win the SEC. If that's Texas' only loss and Texas loses by 3 points, I don't see how Texas would be left out if Texas goes 11-1 and they beat Oklahoma in the Big 12 title game.
But we pretty much just about shut out every other team in the Big 12 having this conversation.
I think it's more of like, what if Texas is the 12-0 team and they lose? I think that's the better question. I think Oklahoma has a better chance as the 12-0 team and lose than Texas does, just because of recent success, as unfair as that is.
Well,
Texas would have the LSU game to hang their hat on, though.
Yeah,
not to mention that I think at Iowa State, if you take a look, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, obviously, but if you look at Iowa State's schedule, it sets up real pretty for them to be 7-1 or 8-0 going into November. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you're looking at Texas, if let's say they are 12-0, they would have wins against presumably a top 10 LSU team, a top 10 Oklahoma team, a top 10 Iowa State team, and then their only loss would be a loss to an Oklahoma team they previously beat. I feel like that would be a hard thing to not let them in. I mean,
true.
Yeah, and then Baylor's my sleeper in Big 12. Like that's what I've said. Could win. They could win 8 to 9 games this year.
Aaron, let me go ahead and say this because I heard you talking about Texas and LSU a while ago. I've already actually talked to a couple of LSU people, and George Stroud and Shannon Russell, and they both say that there's no way Texas beats LSU in Austin.
Before the Georgia game, but then somehow that game didn't matter after the game was played.
Right.
So basically, I've heard the same stuff. How we can't stop the run, can't do any of that. LSU is going to a spread offense, to a hurry up RPO offense. Texas faces that every week in practice. You face that every week. So nothing that LSU is going to run. The only way LSU will give the LSU the best chance is if they go to a pro style offense, which they're not, because that's their biggest advantage is in offensive line, defensive line.
Right.
So
now,
I think Texas fans have they should have serious concern over the fact they only returned 3 starters on defense.
See,
that should work.
Now I've heard that a lot.
What is that shit going on in the background?
God,
Nothing.
no idea.
Nothing. Don't worry about that. Never mind the man behind the curtain.
Texas is more talented on defense than they've been in a long time now, though.
I mean,
that's the one caveat to that, and they do have the best
if you look
safeties.
at the recruiting. I mean, the recruiting that Herman has done. I mean, his first year he got signed 3 of the top 6 safeties in the nation. I mean, the players that we have on the bench and that played a lot last year. So it's not like the players that were put in this year have never played. I mean,
Texas cannot rely on just saying, look at the recruiting, because let's be honest, Mac Brown and Charlie Strong didn't, were bringing in very good classes, and it didn't really amount to much.
They weren't bringing in the talent that Herman brought in, and the players that we have coming this year played in the Sugar Bowl. They played last year. Some of them even started last year in the Sugar Bowl. So
what's scary. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, the players that we have, that they'll say, yeah, but y'all losing A, B, C, and D. You can ask probably any Big 12 team, and they'll tell you Chris Boyd, Devontae Davis, and Brecken Hager were our 3 worst players, and they started for us. You can ask a Oklahoma fan, they'll tell you the exact same thing about Brecken Hager.
All right, Aaron, let me go ahead and just destroy what you're saying right now. Timothy Bailey, explain to me why Texas is not going to win the Big 12.
Well, I don't think Texas gets to the Big 12 championship game next year, to be honest with you. I do think they beat LSU, and I think they beat them like a drum, to be totally honest with you.
I think that's going to happen, too. I can't wait.
And by the way, just for the sake, first of all, I want to say this because people don't seem to understand this. Texas has a very good defense. Statistically, they were like 50-something because when you play against 6 top 10 offenses, you're probably not going to have a top 10 defense. I'm just going to throw that out there, especially in 2018, 2019. But let's just say, just for the sake of argument, Georgia, I've heard they're pretty good at running the football, and I don't even want to remember what happened when they ran the football against Oklahoma in 2017. But I do recall Texas holding Georgia to 72 rushing yards on 30 attempts. That's a whopping 2.4 yards per carry. DeAndre Swift, apparently a Heisman frontrunner, had 8 carries for 12 yards.
Wow.
So
candidate, not frontrunner.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no
He's
Texas
not a
fans believe they're Texas
frontrunner.
Georgia
Frontrunners
fans
in Clemson and South Carolina. So.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
But yeah, anyway.
Long-haired bitch.
Hey,
anyway, Elijah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, and honestly, 62 of those yards were from Elijah Holyfield running the ball in the 4th quarter when they were down 21. So
his daddy ain't got no ear.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
and he ain't got no 40 time either. So
yeah.
I see Texas.
He still did all right
because we're going to drop a game that we're not supposed to drop.
In the game, I think that is.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks
Baylor's
after the
scary.
LSU game is a trip to Oklahoma State. I think that's a dangerous game because
that's a very dangerous game. So you lose to Oklahoma State, and goodbye any kind of chance for the playoffs. Oh, that's for sure.
That's a sneaky game.
Oklahoma State, at West Virginia, at Iowa State, and at Baylor.
West Virginia is Greerless, so you should be able to win with
they
confidence
are, but
on that
still,
one.
If it's a 11 a.m. game, I hate those games.
I think West Virginia
let's just look at this.
Trust me, until y'all build that border wall down there in Texas, there is still plenty of cocaine in Houston. So if you need to get up at 11 o'clock in the morning,
I know
we can make it happen, dog. We can make it happen.
To be fair to Texas, I mean, look at the schedule. I mean, I don't know how they're playing at Rice. That's weird, but beyond that,
it's
at
NRG Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah,
so we have.
payday.
So here is Texas's away games and just tough games down the stretch. They got at West Virginia. West Virginia, I don't expect will be great next year, but playing in Morgantown's always tough.
Sure.
They play at TCU, and TCU, you know, they're not very happy about losing to Texas because they let that game slip away against them last year, and they actually got their asses handed to them late in that game.
They hate Texas.
TCU returns 7 offensive starters as well.
So, and then here's their November. Kansas State, who just seems to be a thorn in Texas's side. I don't think that'll be a problem this year, but they just have been. Even last year, they almost got them last year anyways, which is weird. They have then November 16th, they have at Iowa State. Then the week later, they travel to Baylor, which that's no gimme. I mean, Texas Tech, that's free. But, I mean, like, at Iowa State, at Baylor, at TCU, at West Virginia. I mean, you could argue that's probably the toughest slate of road games that you can have in the Big 12 Conference without having to travel to Oklahoma or Texas.
Yeah.
So, I mean that's brutal. That's a brutal road schedule. And then also they have LSU. People think the Big 12 is not very good, but they just don't understand. Like, next year, the Big 12 might be better than it's been in a long time. Oklahoma State should be pretty good again. They're usually good every few years. TCU.
I'm sorry.
Iowa State with Brock Purdy.
Four
my
really
goodness.
good.
Yeah,
like,
Brock Purdy's legit.
Like, there are 4 outside of Texas and Oklahoma. There are 4 really good teams next year in the Big 12, in Iowa State, TCU, Baylor, and Oklahoma State.
There's a lot of love for Oklahoma
good.
State in this conversation that we really haven't kind of peeled back the onion of. I mean, I think we could do a whole nother segment on that.
We could even bring in Anna Mary.
Yeah, Anna Mary could come on. I don't think she will. I think she's mad at me right now.
But really the team that is, I think, is going to, well, not so much surprise because they've already kind of surprised the last few years, is Iowa State. Iowa State brings back 8 on both offense and defense. Matt Campbell, we know, gets the most out of his guys. They play great defense, which I know.
Brock Purdy, who?
You know,
all the talk about Jalen and Sam, I think Brock Purdy's the best quarterback coming back in the Big 12.
I can see Iowa State getting to the Oklahoma State game at the end of October, being 7-0. If they can get past Iowa,
now
they could be 7-0.
My one argument with Iowa State is they have to replace 2 starters who are probably the best players that they've had in their football program.
Well, they replaced Hakeem Butler. They replaced Alan Lazard with Hakeem Butler, and then I think this Murdoch kid's really good. David Montgomery's a hard one to replace. They did play a lot of the season last year without him, and they were very different without him. So that's a very fair point, because when they had him, they were a nightmare. They had him so little that they were like 80-something in total offense, which was way weird, because when they had him, they were just a pain. I mean,
because
they had everything.
In the Texas game, Montgomery was out the first half because he punched that Baylor player the week before. And that Iowa State offense was like very vanilla.
Well,
so you could tell the difference in that.
I want to get both of you guys, Timothy Bailey and Aaron Sims, to go down the list and tell me how you think the Big 12 is going to shake out, and team by team.
All right, Aaron, you first.
Baylor, I have them going 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
TCU, I have probably a 7-5. I just don't trust their offense because it's like a QB carousel, like we're revolving, and they don't have a proven quarterback.
Right.
Texas Tech, probably 5-7. They don't have a defense. Matt Wells is trying to build a hard-nosed team, a hard-nosed defense-style team, but it's going to take a couple years. Kansas 1-11. Les Miles was
No. No, you know that ain't happening, buddy. I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. Les is back on the scene. You could expect at least 4 motherfucking wins from Kansas. That is a guaranteed motherfucking T right now on Smacking Off the Podcast by Shannon Madden. 4 wins by Les Miles. You gone with your irrelevant ass?
I don't see them getting 4 wins. West Virginia, I see them going about 4-8, 5-7.
Okay.
Just replacing Will Greer, a brand new offense scheme. They lost like their top 3 safeties. I believe so. They
didn't really have any of those anyway, but
yeah. But anyways, let's see. Oklahoma. I mean, I think 11-1, 12-1. Texas 10-2. I think we'll split between LSU and Oklahoma, and then we'll drop a game out of nowhere. Baylor, West Virginia, whichever one. In Oklahoma State, I have them going 8-4.
Anna Mary, that's an 8-4 for you right there. Yeah.
Anyone else that I've left out?
Who wins the conference?
I'm gonna say Texas.
All right. Well, I mean, that's great. Everybody got really quiet for a minute
there. Texas rematch. Yeah, you said 11.
Yeah.
Oklahoma 11-1. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Tim Bailey. We got like just a few minutes left, so let's breeze through it real quick.
All right. So I got Kansas in last place. Kansas State in the 9th place. Texas Tech in 7th. I don't really care what happens between those 3. They'll clusterfuck each other. Maybe Kansas gets the 4 wins. Who knows? Maybe they beat those 3 teams.
Kansas is getting 4 wins.
Yeah.
That's happening. That is happening this season.
Yeah. Pretty clearly at 6 you
The
have
return
West
of Les
Virginia, who will
Miles.
be a borderline bowl team. They'll either be just outside or they'll be in the bowl season.
No Tax Slayer Bowl? Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Telling that story, Sean Devine. So I think TCU and Baylor will be very interesting because, and first of all, they always play each other at the end of the year. That's a pretty low-key, like, intense rivalry that a lot of people don't realize is super intense.
It's a holy war.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's a monster, dude. Like, you watch those games, and you're like, when did TCU and Baylor get a defense? They'll have a guy, like, fly through the line of scrimmage. And like, especially Baylor. You're all of a sudden like, fuck, Baylor just held TCU to negative 25 yards of offense in a quarter? Like, what the fuck is happening here? I think the 3 teams though that are really there to beat TCU, Baylor. Okay, first of all, TCU, Baylor, and Oklahoma State are pretty interchangeable. I think any of them can finish anywhere from 3rd to 5th. I mean, those guys all should be pretty decent. And somebody's gonna get a fistful of, oh fuck, we're in a bowl game against a team who's 8-4 that really would be 10-2, but they play a round robin in their conference.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna say Oklahoma State in that role. We're getting a lot of love also in the Facebook chat too for Mike Gundy.
I mean, 3 through 7 can literally go any way. Like one play can determine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's how deep it. I guess Big 12 is the deepest it's been probably since 2008.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the best Big 12 I think we've seen since at minimum 2014. Because 2014 the Big 12 was pretty good that year. Although Oklahoma and Texas weren't good, the league in general was good that year.
Right.
So
which is weird to say.
Sean Devine, who do you see winning this Big 12 race?
Yeah, you're our impartial voice of reason here.
I mean, I have Oklahoma winning the conference.
Yeah.
There's too much talent on that roster. Then they bring back 8 on defense, and they if they're human beings, they've been reading about Oklahoma, had a terrible track record last year statistically on defense, and I think if that defense improves, you don't even need to talk about Oklahoma's offense. They can put up points with anybody in the country. I do have reservations about Hurts. I really think Spencer Rattler is the truth. just watching some of his.
We've already seen this show before. We've seen it on Alabama's campus. I'm sorry, it's the same setup, same scenario, setting up already, and that would blow my mind if that actually happened. It really would.
It might.
I would feel bad for Hurts because he's such a good person.
I mean, he's a great person. And I've said this on this podcast. I think his strength is not going to necessarily be in playing in the future. It's going to be in coaching. He's a hell of a game manager. He understands the game. I just don't think that the talent level is there at that point. Hell, he's proved me wrong on a couple occasions. He proved quite a few very angry Georgia fans very wrong. So yeah, I mean, it's what it is.
A quarter of 25% of Jalen Hurts is better than Jake Fromm.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, we can definitely. Yeah.
So I would feel bad for Hurts, but I definitely could see if he does struggle, like Tim said earlier. Rattler this kid is the truth. I mean, and we saw it last year. Kelly Bryant, a great kid as well, but talent is talent. You got to play the talent. And I just Oklahoma's load. I mean, talk about bringing in new receivers. I mean, Oklahoma, other than Alabama, with their receiving core, probably has the deepest receiving core in the nation. They're going to put points on the board. If they get by,
who's going to stop them in the red zone with Jalen Hurts running in the wild? Oh my God!
Kennedy Brooks is there. I mean, and the schedule sets up favorably. They get by the Red River game. I expect them to roll in the Big 12 championship game unbeaten, and head back to Jerry's World for that game, and they should be in it. I think they're going to win that game and be in the playoffs. They're like 13-0. So as much as I want to say Iowa State because I love what Matt Campbell's doing there, they just don't have the horses to hang with Oklahoma.
No.
I mean, Oklahoma's recruiting is top notch. So I mean, and they're part of that kind of group of five, and I don't mean conferences. I mean that group of five teams that year in and year out have a chance to win, the national championship. So Texas getting there.
Well, guys, we've got to break. We've got two ladies just chomping at the bit. No, it's done. It's over with. Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12 championship. I think we can all pretty well agree on that.
That's not what I have.
I don't give a fuck. All right, let's go ahead and get. No, guys, we've really got to get. We're all the way up against the clock, and we've got two ladies just chomping at the bit to really tear each other's heads off. And I'm sorry,
Tim,
but that's
who does Tim got at least in the Big 12 title game?
I have Oklahoma and Iowa State. I think.
And who's going to win? Oklahoma. All right, yeah, I could have guessed that one. All right, Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye,
hey guys, we had fun.
It's been wonderful.
Please consider donating to the Smackle de Jesus Cash for Rust charity. Let's help this Smack legend in his greatest hour of need. Thank you in advance for your most generous donation.
This ad has been brought to you by Doyle Hargraves Construction and Uncle Harvey's Tree Service.
You expect a hemorrhoid medicine to relieve pain and itch, but you get an extra therapeutic action with Preparation H. It helps speed relief to inflamed hemorrhoidal tissue with oxygen action. A special medicine in Preparation H accelerates the absorption of pure oxygen to help shrink swelling of inflamed hemorrhoidal tissue fast. And of course, Preparation H often relieves pain and itch for hours. When you choose a hemorrhoid medicine, remember, oxygen action is special with Preparation H.
Smacking Off invites you to join us on the podcast. If you have an opinion on an upcoming game, some commentary on your conference, or want to roll with one of your fellow smackers on air, hit us up. You can message us at the Smacking Off or X's and O's Facebook pages, email me at maddenshannon@toothfairy.com, or call us on the Smack line, 304-508-BAIT. And as always, fuck your team.
I want to bite your finger. It's a Dracula game. Just set the clock. Just try your luck.
If Dracula's cape opens, you have to put your finger in his mouth and press the lever. If he leaves a mark on your finger, you have to start over again.
He didn't bite me!
If you can sneak all the way around Dracula's house, you'll win the game.
You're not supposed to bite people.
It's a Dracula game.
I want to bite your finger from Hasbro.
Thirsty? Yeah, this is a job for Kool-Aid.
and soft drink mix.
Oh, yeah!
Starting on August 29th, Smacking Off the podcast will be coming to you on Thursdays for a full hour and on Sundays for 30 minutes. Please make a note and adjust your schedules appropriately. Thank you in advance for your cooperation.
Coconut.
All right, and we are back on Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm joined with Amy Sheffield Welch, friend of the show, and a brand new contestant here on Smacking Off the Podcast, Cynthia Marie. What's up?
Hey.
And we
Hey,
got a
guys.
guest. We got a guest ref tonight too.
Oh. What is this? A surprise? A last minute edition? What's
It
going
is.
on?
Who's the last minute addition?
That is one and only President Teddy Sheckelsworth, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm here to
Y'all
make
can do
sure
better
we
than that.
keep
Come
it
on
clean.
now.
I'm here to
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
we
Give it
keep
up for the guy. Okay. All right. Now we're doing something here. What's up, guys and girls?
Well, I'm drunk-ish. I slept for a little while and now I feel pukey.
You
so.
lush. You're a lush.
I am.
Amy might be puking on here tonight. We might be hearing her.
It's a lot better than hearing Dane shit. So I think that's that.
Dane took a shit on the podcast.
Several times.
Yeah.
he's
Seriously, did you hear him flipping, grunting?
Well, we
while
heard
he
him
was
go to
trying
the
get that
bathroom, and he
fucking
said he had
shit
to go to the
out?
bathroom.
Yeah, he got real quiet. I mean, like some people, when you know that they're grunting, but they can't grunt, and it's just like
really
this
making me feel pukier. Let's move
Yeah.
on.
What are you talking about, poo?
Change the subject.
I do not like
If
talking
she's
about poo.
puking, if I hear her puking, I'm gonna be dry heaving.
Oh, that's gonna. Hell yeah, man! I'm telling you, this segment has turned out exactly like I hoped it would.
Oh,
So
God.
yeah, so what's up? What's up, ladies? Cynthia, which team do you rep?
Where am I from? Do you know where I'm from?
I have no idea where
Sicily.
Pittsburgh. I'm
Pittsburgh.
from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
So you're a Pitt fan?
I am a Steelers fan. I am a Penguins fan. The Pirates fucking suck, but I'm a Pirates fan. We don't have a basketball team, so I'm not a basketball fan. And when it comes to college, it's Pitt and Penn State. But if it's Pitt against Penn State, I'm going for Pitt.
Really? So ultimately, at the end of the day, you are a Pitt fan. That's a new one. Have we had a Pitt fan on here yet?
100%.
No, but we
Pitt
had
fan.
Kyle
Don't
Golick
fuck
on
with
one
my
time, and he
city
hates
either.
Pitt.
Okay, well, but we actually have a legit Pitt fan.
Talk about the Pittsburgh. Like, there's so much haters against Pittsburgh. Okay, the Steelers, the Penguins, not the Pirates, because like I said, the
I don't
fucking
hate
Pirates suck.
any of them.
I don't hate the Penguins.
And then you got people like from all over that are Steelers fans, or they're they're a Penguins fan, but you'll never be a fan like someone from Pittsburgh.
My kid is actually a Steelers fan.
Really?
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
He
my
loves
God!
them.
How old is he?
14.
Oh, my son's 14 too. What's his name?
Dewey.
Okay, mine's Caleb. Oh my God! Maybe you'll have to come up here for a.
I like that.
To a,
Yeah.
Steelers game.
He
We
was
go to
up there for a
Steelers game.
Phillies and Cubs game last summer.
Was he?
Yeah.
See, Pittsburgh is completely we're 6 hours away from Philly.
Okay.
So we don't acknowledge Philly. Philly's different because Philly has all their teams too. Like Philly has the Eagles. Philly has I don't even
I love
fucking
the
know
Eagles.
what all they have.
Take it
But they
to
have
the
their
limit.
teams, and we don't.
Philly's
know
got
their
Bon
teams.
Jovi.
Kinda like
Philly's got Bon
Pittsburgh
Jovi.
against
Yeah.
Philly in Pennsylvania.
Jersey's got Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen, the boss.
I love.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But Philadelphia has Bo Bon Jovi.
Real quick, before we go any further,
Wiz Khalifa.
let's
Yeah.
get into the drama that
Black
got
and
us
yellow,
all.
black and yellow.
Let's get into the drama that got us here.
Yeah, there was.
I know nothing about it.
There was some drama that got us here. There was some harsh words spoken, but already I can see that we built that bridge back up.
When you can hear each other's voices.
I don't think it was like truly harsh words. Like when you're talking smack and you're just talking smack, you're not being harsh. If that makes any sense. Like, you know, if I'm sitting
being mean.
If I'm sitting there and I am like, I'm not trying to be like a complete and total asshole, and this isn't overwhelming.
Amy's puking. Amy's puking. Amy's puking.
Oh, Amy is puking on air. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
We gotta puke on air.
Yes. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And this is why you called in the guest referee, to see shit like this, to get shit like this on air.
Right.
There it is. Amy's puking.
Hell yeah.
No.
I'm back for a minute.
Oh, man,
Okay.
this is the greatest podcast ever.
Okay, so Amy's back from puking.
Oh, God.
Amy was talking shit. I was talking shit.
It's not even fair anymore.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
No,
Sorry.
that was the greatest moment in the history of this fucking show.
It might have been.
It's not.
Yes, it is. I'm dead over here. I am fucking dead. This is the first time I've died like this on the podcast ever.
Puking rowdy.
Think about
Puking rowdy.
Think about Dane's turd. That'll get all of it out.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. This is the greatest thing ever. Oh, wow. This is the greatest.
I can't find my stupid earbuds.
Her earbuds are lost.
They're covered in vomit. Oh, man. Wipe the vomit off before you put them in your ear.
Shut up. This is so not funny.
No,
Amy
it is.
done puked so hard she blew her earbuds out.
I peed.
Teddy, you're the president. Is there anything you
Did you pee yourself, too?
Oh, my God. Did you pee on yourself?
I did.
Fucking
shit.
And there we go. That's the show.
Oh, man, I don't think I can do
Teddy, you're the president. You can get this shit straight.
God.
Hey, this is exactly why we on here, and we knew some greatness was going to happen. We didn't know it was going to come in the form of vomiting
and peeing.
Yes,
and pee.
Absolutely.
So let's get back to it. What was the drama?
That was the drama right there. That superseded any other
just gave
thing that.
everybody all the ammunition they need for the rest of the year. Y'all got me.
Oh my God.
There's going to be clips of this floating around in other smack groups.
The tables will turn, and then there will be a whole bunch of posts about Amy puking and pissing her pants instead
I have no doubt.
me in all these pictures of fucking horrid looking people.
Cynthia, did you have it planned this way?
Yeah. Cynthia may have won this by default.
Yeah, you win.
I'm not trying to win. I actually flipping. Now that I'm hearing your voice, I know you're a girl. I actually have respect for you because I love girls that.
This is what girls do in girls' bathrooms. When one of them starts
not
throwing up and they hold their hair, they were fighting like 5 minutes early, but it's like,
you
sweetie,
don't
it's
have
okay.
Girls that can sit there and talk shit. I mean, you just don't. So when I find a female that can sit there and talk shit, I love it. Like, you go, girl. You know what I mean? I love that shit. We're like,
isn't that
dudes.
a Shania Twain
Cynthia,
song?
are you arguing with us?
No. Actually,
She's agreeing with us.
I think that there might possibly could maybe be some scissoring come out of this whole thing. So.
Maybe do some what? I didn't hear you.
Oh no, it's not important. Just keep going.
Up in Pennsylvania, it's not referred to as scissoring.
Scissoring. What do they call it in Pennsylvania?
What do they call it in Pennsylvania?
They have a different term for it.
Where are you guys from?
We're from Birmingham, Alabama. That's where the show is based from. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
There you go.
Cool. So you guys all know each other? Do you
Yeah.
We're all related.
Yeah, we're sitting at a Waffle House table right now having this conversation.
Good times.
That was just, yeah. You provided the chunk and the smother. I can't believe you pissed your pants. I would have never told anybody that. That should have been. That should have been private. That should have been between you and Jesus later on.
Amy, if it makes you feel any better, I'll tell you stories. So I want to. My work is freaking awesome, dude. They always take us out for parties in your.
Where do you work, Cynthia? Or do you want to reveal that?
It was our Christmas party, and we went to a bar afterwards, and Jump Around comes on. So my ass starts jumping up and
House
down,
of Pain,
and I
Jump
pissed
Around.
myself. If it makes you feel any
You
better.
jumped and peed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was jumping around to the song, and I peed my pants. If it makes you feel any better.
No,
So
Amy
be
came
ripping
on
me for
air
that
and
shit.
threw up and peed her pants, and then told everybody
I feel
that
like
she
I need
peed
to
her
throw
pants.
up again.
That's awesome. If you do, please hold the phone down to it.
Possibility, I would have peed my pants
You'll
too.
feel so much better if you just throw up.
Yeah,
You'll
just
feel
go
so
ahead
much
and throw
better.
up. Think about that turd coming out of
I
Dane's
can't
ass.
believe she's still on there puking. Like, damn, that's even
Like
more
Dane ate a lot of
respect, man.
fiber, so it's a really
Drunk
big
and
solid
puking,
loaf.
Still on the podcast? Shit.
Roll Tide.
She's a professional. Amy's a professional.
Roll motherfucking Tide.
She's a pro. Yeah, not like that kind of pro, but yeah.
So who's everyone's NFL team?
I currently, I don't know. I'm a huge Auburn fan, so I'm rooting for whoever Cam Newton plays for. That's not real, by the way. That didn't really happen.
Yeah.
You can't be like that. You gotta have a team.
Amy's already beat Dane, but if she shits
gotta
herself
go.
on air, in
Hey,
addition
you
to
need to go
pissing
get
herself
some
and throwing
I
up,
gotta tap out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amy's out.
Bye,
Amy,
Amy,
thank
I
you,
got
Amy. Amy at least gave
nice
that. She gave it a
talking to
very
you.
solid effort.
Okay.
A very, very solid effort. I don't know what else I can say about Amy's performance. That was truly remarkable.
Yeah.
Was she
was,
seriously throwing up?
Yeah,
Yes.
she's had quite a bit to drink today. She's a lush.
I went to work today on my day off. That's what I did today.
So where do you work, Cynthia? Or what type of work do you do?
I work for a very huge law firm
Oh, okay.
in Pittsburgh. I'm
you,
in one of the skyscrapers.
are you a lawyer, paralegal?
I'm a paralegal.
Okay.
I have my bachelor's, and I work directly under a director and an associate.
Okay.
And I'm the only paralegal that it does 3 different states.
All right, fair enough. What type of law?
But I'm dumb. But I'm super, super dumb.
Yeah.
No, you can't be a paralegal and be dumb.
I'm
That
like
just that didn't happen.
beyond dumb. I can't write sentences, but I write motions every day and have the lawyer review it and sign off on it.
Okay.
But I'm super stupid.
That was Amy. Amy finally just passed out.
That was her head hitting something.
Yeah. She found the earbuds.
So
Yeah.
before we
What
forget,
type of law do I work in
Yes.
right now? Before it was criminal justice, and now it is foreclosure. I take people's homes that can't pay for their houses.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. Hope you feel real good about yourself.
I thought when I first started working there, I thought it was going to bother me and I wouldn't be able to work there. But if you're not paying for your fucking mortgage, nothing towards it for 3+ years, guess what, bitch? When you freaking get your house foreclosed on, you're going to have to pay rent. Like,
so what you're saying is I can
something.
What you're saying is legally I cannot pay for 2 years and 4 months and then just start paying again?
Look at the state. Look at the state.
Uh-huh.
It's just, you can start paying again if you come into a modification or you're coming into an agreement with the mortgagee, but pay for your fucking shit, man.
Well, before I forget,
are you paying for your rent? Are you paying for your mortgage?
I haven't paid
all
rent
of us
in years.
have to live like that unless you're living with your parents. And if you're living with your parents at a certain age,
What's the
Obama
cutoff?
was paying for mine, but now Trump ain't paying for it no more.
What is the
Wow.
cutoff as far as ages go? What is the cutoff for a man to be socially unacceptable, or woman, or for a grown person to be socially unacceptable to still be living with their parents?
I don't know, because at the same time, I really shouldn't make that statement not knowing what someone's life is truly like. Like, if you're disabled, if you're handicapped, that's a totally different
Doug
story.
lives with his dad, so
if you are,
it's not really like that, though.
No, it don't work like that.
No, it's not.
And helping your parents out, then, that's different too. But if you're just living with your parents to be a loser and a nobody, like, that's when, I can admit that I'm going to probably judge you.
Fair enough. So,
Cynthia?
Yeah.
Did you know that when you talk like everything's a question, even though it's just a sentence you're saying normally?
I like the way she talks.
Why do you do
I'm not used
that?
to it.
I don't know.
Why do people do that?
Because I want to hear other people's thought process on the subject.
I like it. I like the way she talks.
Am I ever going to be able to tell who my favorite NFL team is?
You better know who your favorite NFL
I do.
team
It's the
is.
49ers,
I came out
isn't
of
it?
the womb
Toronto Argonauts.
singing, here we go, Steelers, here we go. Like,
Toronto Argonauts.
I'm a Toronto Argonaut guy.
Yeah, all the way.
To how you can't have a team.
Yeah, I'm a Cleveland Brown guy. I'm a huge Baker Mayfield fan. He's a fine, upstanding
Cleveland
fella.
Brown fan.
Yeah.
I have respect for you because your team literally sucks.
They do.
For a very long time. When was the last time they won anything? Like in the 1960s?
We got Baker Mayfield, and it's coming back any day now. That trophy's going to be sitting on our shelf or at the grocery store that we're going to be able to touch before they put it in the
I'm going
case.
to say another 20 years, maybe. Possibly.
I don't know. If Baker's still playing with us, maybe. Yeah.
Hey, what's your thoughts on Ben Roethlisberger being an alleged rapist?
Okay, so I'll give you this. I don't cheer for Big Ben. I don't
Big Ben?
have his flipping number 7. Nothing that I own is number 7. But I will tell you something. The Rooney family is a very well-known, respected family in Pittsburgh. And when anything comes up with any type of player that they have that's negative, there's a whole different investigation that goes into it. So
We do the same
for
thing
the
in
Rooney
Tuscaloosa.
family not to have let him go would make me have belief because of how I know how they are. To say that those allegations were incorrect.
Really believe that? Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that there's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and you know the Rooneys? I know one thing: they like money and they like championships, and they don't give a fuck. They'll pay somebody off, which is what they did.
First of all, they were
so
Irish.
You enjoy rooting
they
for
were
alleged
Irish,
rapists.
and they didn't come.
All right.
I'm not rooting for an
All
alleged
right.
rapist. No, wait a minute. Stop, Basta. I'm going to tell you, I'm not rooting for a rapist. First of all, it's a team. There's no
alleged
I in
rapist.
Team. Okay, there's no I in team. It's
There's
an
one in
alleged rapist.
Roethlisberger.
There was no motherfucking charges ever filed because guess what? The bitch took the money. If I'm getting raped, if I'm going to get raped, I'm not taking the fucking money. I will after you're found fucking guilty.
I will let
in a criminal suit, or a civil lawsuit.
Linebacker rape me on the 50-yard line for $100,000 right now. Straight in the butt. I'll do it. You're lying.
You're lying. Is that there is women and men that make allegations against another who's not necessarily true, and if you know the person's rich, you're after the money.
So
I don't know.
How many was it? It was more than one.
I don't know.
It was more than one allegation that came out.
It makes me disgusted if flipping
But
he did
that's
that,
still your
and he'll get his own. He will get his own, but I can't stop. Rooting for my team.
I know.
It's a team.
I feel that.
I can't stop rooting for the city.
How would you feel if they added a member of ISIS? Would you still root for them?
If they what?
How would you feel if they added a member of ISIS? How would you feel?
ISIS, the heavy metal band, or ISIS, the ISIS, the militant group?
First of all, what motherfucking ISIS person is playing for any gosh darn NFL team?
I think Colin Kaepernick was, wasn't he?
Well, yeah,
whatever. From what I heard,
but also,
the sites that I saw.
Also, what
Stormfront
rapist plays in the NFL?
I'm sure there's other rapists in the
Well,
NFL.
I mean, I
don't flipping know. There's a whole
I've
bunch
seen
of
the
different
reports
people.
on Roethlisberger.
Bill
and
Belichick.
He definitely
So what are
was
you saying? What are
raping
you
people in the
saying?
bathroom
Because
in the
I'm a
car.
Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
No, I'm
I'm
just
from the city.
asking.
I'm
I'm just
supposed to
asking
automatically
as
suck.
a.
I told you that I don't have number 7.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't
that's
root for
good.
number 7. If they get rid of number 7, I don't give a fuck. It's
But
my
you still,
team. There
but
is
you
no
still
I in
thump your
team.
chest
Ben is
over
not
the
the
Super Bowl
team.
number 7 brought you. You
Big
still
Ben.
thumping chest over
She called him
the,
Big Ben before this
Super Bowl.
conversation started.
Big Ben
Yeah, when
Roethlisberger.
everyone's ripping on him and they have the pictures of him looking like a little flipping twat waffle, which he might be, I'm laughing at it. Okay? Like I said, he's not, I don't root for him. I root for my team, and there is no I in team.
But there is in Roethlisberger.
Well, he'll be done soon, and then we'll move on to another quarterback.
I guess the question he's asking is, should he be done already, or should he have been done already? Should have been completely, because the NFL,
Like I
the
told you
NFL
guys,
has moved to
if he would have been done, I wouldn't give a fuck.
So if it hadn't been swept under the rug, then it would have gone through.
Rooting for my team, my city, for one person. If they made that decision, no charges were pressed. Therefore, there is no guilty, and then there wasn't even a
I don't know if Nick Saban allowed somebody that had a very strong, indication that they did rape somebody as a starting quarterback, and I'm looking at you, FSU fans. Then I would have a problem with that. I really would have a problem with that, and it would definitely take any kind of accolade we acquired with that person as a quarterback. It would definitely take that into a whole different thing too. Also, because I have a huge beef with Oklahoma fans with their hot shot running back that beat a woman on camera and was allowed to come back and contribute to their end of season senior season. I still don't think he should have been given that chance.
I get that, and what I'm saying is I didn't get to make the decision, just like all of us are unable to make decisions. So therefore, there's nothing I can do about it except do what I do, which is not root for fucking.
But doesn't that feel like a hollow
and
victory, though, when you have
team.
somebody that has that kind of cloud under them, and any kind of accolade is reached?
He's not going to be much longer.
So
he's been there damn near 20 years. I hope the hell not.
Much longer, when he's not much longer, I'm still going to be rooting for the Steelers, whether they suck or not.
Whether they have another rapist quarterback or not. Yeah.
And talk my shit. I'm allowed to talk my shit on my team.
True.
Don't talk shit on my team.
Okay, but but at the same time, we're not just talking about like some little silly incident. We're talking about something very serious, rape.
I agree.
And that's
agree.
especially with NFL with their no tolerance policies that they've instituted over the past few years, particularly in light of sexual assaults and
because there's
in the
so
wave
many
of
people
Me
that
Too,
it bothers, then you should write a petition, get a whole bunch of signatures, and send it to the NFL that you don't believe that.
I wrote a letter.
I wrote a letter,
and I wrote a petition,
that never worked.
and I sent it to the highest
work.
court in the land. I sent it straight to Judge Judy. I sent that petition straight to Judge Judy, and I'm waiting on her to send it to Goodell.
We always talk about these Supreme Court justices. Why isn't Judge Judy a Supreme Court justice now?
She
should be.
Because you writing.
I got more people than Ben Roethlisberger raped. Let's just say that. I got more people than Ben Roethlisberger raped.
Ouch.
Okay. Like I said, I don't cheer for Big Ben.
This is a really dark conversation.
It is. Less about Big Ben, but I got to be a Steelers.
This is like a dark comedy.
I didn't expect any of this. This is not the segment that I was looking forward to.
I am a
so much
Cincinnati Bengals fan, so that's why I have so much hatred for these.
You just said you were a Browns fan.
No, that was Doug.
No, that was Madden.
I'm not really a Browns fan.
How are you guys from Alabama and Ohio?
I'm not from Alabama. I never said where I was.
I moved down here from Ohio.
Why can't you say
I live in Cuyahoga Falls.
From?
Which broke ass.
I'm from Florida. It says it on my profile.
Yeah, and I already said that I'm a Toronto. I'm a Toronto Argonauts fan.
Birmingham Stallions here.
And I love.
Is that a tornado siren? Holy shit! Do you hear that?
That
sounds like a tornado siren.
Do you hear it from my
Is that a tornado siren? Are you having tornadoes?
She's watching
No,
Twister.
back here, back home,
back at it
it's
again. That's
the volunteer
whistle.
fire departments. If
Somebody blowing a
the
rape
thing
whistle
goes
again.
off, that means that you have to respond, since
Ted-
it's volunteer.
Teddy's
No
back there
means
talking
no.
about rape whistles.
No means no. That was a rape whistle. Ben's out there.
You
back
guys
at
are
it
fucked
again.
up. Move on to a different subject. What the fuck do you want from me? Do you want fucking from me to stop being a Steelers fan? Ain't gonna happen. You can talk till you're goddamn blue in the face and losing air till you're goddamn motherfucking dead. I will always be a Steelers fan. Born a Steelers fan, will fucking die one too. Okay?
There you go.
Can
What
we
about-
move on to the next subject?
Yes. Next subject. Terrible towels. Why are they so terrible?
Because we're gonna beat your asses, so we're terrible. And everyone hates on us. I don't know. Flipping, our broadcaster made it up, and he was awesome, and Myron Cope, and he's no longer with us, and we still go with Myron Cope. Terrible towel.
She's
Yeah,
also a Penn
motherfucker.
State fan. Did you want to start in about that, Teddy?
About what?
No,
she's
Pitt.
also a Penn State. Well,
Pitt.
but she roots for Penn State when they're not playing Pitt.
Oh,
what she
okay.
said
That's
earlier.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. If y'all notice something here, it's a trend of some sexual crimes and her rooting for them. I don't know what's on.
Oh
what's
my
with that.
fucking god! Seriously? I said Pitt overrules Penn State.
Well, what happened with all
And
the
that's the
Sandusky?
past. That's the
What-
past. He's in
Well,
jail,
Who?
and hopefully he's getting raped.
Who are we talking about?
Chris Scully.
Sandusky.
Chris
I mean,
Scully. Chris Scully. Shit.
Hopefully he's getting it in the asshole, which we know he is. So,
You got to use
Well,
that
what if
one.
he likes
bye.
it?
It's the past.
That's got to go on the.
It's the
intro.
past.
What if he likes it?
With this?
What if
I'm
he
sure
likes
he
it?
doesn't
what you
like
just
it,
said.
and I
Get
hope
it
he
in the
gets it
asshole.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you need to go back and listen to the very first appearance of Chris Scully when he made the well, not necessarily apology for Jerry Sandusky.
He said he
but
was going to, but he was a little bit more careful.
It was
than
a
that.
very enlightening conversation, though. I enjoyed it. Not necessarily that I
Well,
agree
you'll
with
have
it
to bring it
1000%.
back up and tag me in it.
It's
so
it.
I
It's
can
actually in.
listen to it.
It's on YouTube. We actually, for all of our listeners, we have all of our, except for a couple of recent ones, but we have nearly all of our episodes archived on YouTube. Just go look for "Smacking Off the Podcast."
God. So my mouth is going to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
That's
world famous
hysterical.
now.
Shit, I've been on YouTube
That's
for years, man.
hysterical.
I'm a YouTube veteran.
Well, what's there left to say?
Wait a minute. I got one for that.
There's nothing left to say except I'm a freaking Pittsburgh fan. I don't give a fuck what you say. I am who I am. If you don't like me, shut the fuck up and move on. Like, that's what I want to say to everyone in the group. Everyone in the group that this is based upon, rip on me all day long. Your words will never hurt me, motherfuckers.
Wait a minute. Which group are you talking about? Because this is we're
Can I mention the group?
absolutely you can.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Family Smack. Okay, so they've
Bunch
been
of
talking
assholes.
nonstop shit on me.
Those guys are
I
assholes.
have a big nose. I have a big nose. Yes, I have a big nose.
Your
I
nose
don't
doesn't
give
look
a
that big
fuck
in the
if you
picture.
Tell me it's big. I
It's
don't
not.
care.
No, it's not really that big.
It's my nose.
Doug
It's
can
like-
tell you.
It's from my dad.
Doug can tell
why
you. My
should I
first wife
be,
had like the biggest nose of any woman I've ever met in my life. Remember, Tina
I
had
have
that
the
huge
biggest
honker.
nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
it was
I mean,
pretty big.
I never measured it or anything.
It was a big nose.
And
No.
then they're saying I have a mustache. Meanwhile, I've like
you have a mustache?
freckles and moles on my freaking lip that I guess looks like a fucking mustache.
No, I mean seriously.
Continue on. Like, if you think I look like a dude, continue on. I really don't care.
I
what
don't think
other
you look like a
people
dude. You look like a
perceive
girl
me
in your
as.
picture. Yeah. Look,
Well,
you look
so
Sicilian.
I'm saying, like, continue to rip on me. I don't care. Words don't hurt, and that's the problem.
But
with
you do realize
society
that I
nowadays.
haven't done any of
Don't
this.
become offended by any words that anyone ever says to you. Rise above their words.
That's right.
They're just words.
They're just
That's
words.
right. Just words. Well, y'all, I've really enjoyed this conversation. This has been one of my most favorite segments we've had in a minute. Particularly Amy Sheffield Welch, who unfortunately had to tap out early, but you really need to go back once we repost this and listen to the moment where she throws up on air. That is smacking off history right there.
And
History was made on this episode.
Okay, night, everyone. Buonanotte. Have a good night.
Have a wonderful evening. President Sheckelsworth, as always, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you, and y'all motherfuckers take it easy.
Let's wrap it up.
Bye-bye.
Find Smacking Off the Podcast on Facebook and on YouTube.
Tune in to Smacking Off the Podcast every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Fuck each and every motherfucker who doesn't.